Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Pewag all-square snow tire chains here on our 2021 Toyota 4Runner. Now these are going to be a good ladder pattern style chain with some square links. And what that means is with the ladder pattern, we're going to get better traction for starts and stops. It won't be as smooth of a ride, but that is the trade-off you make for that extra bit of traction. And with these square links here, you can see how far they rise up off the tire. It's nothing crazy, but it's going to give you a lot more bite than something like a twist link or even a cable chain, which would be much more low profile. So for those medium duty applications where it's not too crazy, definitely not anything off-road, but still on-road in some questionable conditions, these will do just fine. You're going to have a nickel manganese alloy steel construction, so it's going to help with corrosion resistance over time. You will notice that we have a rubber tensioner on there pulling these chains nice and tight. On the bottom there is a lever arm that's included to pull out some tension there, but it doesn't do the best job of getting the chain as tight as it can possibly be around the tire. That's why we always recommend one of these rubber tensioners here, or better yet, you can go with one of Pewag's other options that include cam tensioners. It's just a matter of what's going to fit your tire the best. Either way, having one of these will help pull the chain tight to the tire and keep it there while you're going down the road. This pair of chains will come with a carrying bag. It's not the best bag in the world. It's definitely a step up above some of the canvas options that some of these chains come in. Those ones tend to rip pretty quick, but as opposed to something like a plastic case or even like plastic tote, I would prefer those options over this just because this isn't sealed and it's not watertight. So if you are keeping this in the back of your vehicle, I would maybe look into a plastic tote. It's just gonna make things cleaner and easier over the long run. And these are pretty easy to install. You wanna make sure you pick up the right size for your tire using our fit guide. And once you've got your pair picked out, you can go ahead and follow our installation right here. To get started, we're gonna lay out our chain like this, make sure that nothing is twisted or tangled, and everything is nice and even. Then we want to make sure that this lever arm here is towards the outside of the vehicle, and that these hook pieces that connect the cross pieces to the outer chain have the smooth side facing down with the sort of hook portion up top where it's not going to be making contact with the tire. Then once all that's all set, we can come to the middle of the chain and drape it carefully over the tire, trying to make sure it stays even and centered front to back, left to right. We can pull these portions close together and go around back to make our first connection. So on the side closest to you guys, we've got some spare links right here, and on my side we have a hook. These two ends will go together and connect. Now we don't necessarily have to go to the outermost link right here. We can choose the link based on the best fitment for our tire. I'm gonna start off trying on that second link there. The first time you set these up, there's probably gonna be a bit of trial and error, but once you have an idea of where to set them, you know for next time you're good to go. Now we can go around front and make our second connection. So now around front, we can take our lever arm and feed that through one of the links that we have around front. I'm gonna try the second link first, and you wanna fold that back. You can see there's not really any sort of tension being applied right there, so I'm gonna try to go for a few more links in and see what results we get. Basically, when we fold that back, we want it to be applying some tension. You can see right there, there's some resistance and it can pull the chain up a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want this to be our primary method of tightening. If you're not getting quite the right fitment you want, you can go around back, tighten that up by one link, and then come back around front. So play around with it, get a fitment that you like, and then we can move on to the next step. The next step is the rubber tensioner here. These aren't included with the tire chains, but we do recommend having them and adding them to your tire chain setup, because you can see we have a lot of loose chain here, even with it tightened down to the most we can go on those links. And what this will do is pull up some of that extra slack and keep it under tension. So when you do this, you just want to go back and forth, kind of like I'm doing in a star-shaped pattern here, and try to hook them in relatively evenly with those hooks facing outward. And then by the last one here, we've got a good amount of tension. You can see these links that were very droopy before are now pretty darn tight. But we want to install this on the other side. Go ahead and drive forward a few times. What's going to happen is the chains will probably settle in a bit, maybe loosen up in some places. You can make your final adjustments to get everything nice and tight, and then you're good to go and be on your way. And that'll do it for our look at the Pewag all-square snow tire chains here on our 2021 Toyota 4Runner.